Okay. Good evening, Mayor and council members. Thank you for having me. Again, my name is Destiny with the California Department of Insurance. So tonight I'm providing a legislative update on wildfire recovery efforts at the state level. These bills focus on insurance reform, consumer protection, smoke damage standards, and fair plan accountability. The goal is simple: faster recovery, clearer coverage, and stronger protections for wildfire survivors. Next slide, please. Okay, before we talk about solutions, it's important to understand the market conditions. So we are seeing increased intensity and severity of climate-driven events. Historic inflation has driven up rebuilding costs. Reinsurance costs have risen significantly, and insurance options have decreased in high-risk areas, and the FAIR Plan has grown rapidly, becoming a last resort insurer for many homeowners. So these pressures are shaping the reforms we're discussing tonight. So next slide, please. Okay, so Safer from Wildfires. So in 2022, the Safer from Wildfires framework expanded the use of catastrophic modeling. So this allows insurers to better assess wildfire risk using forward-looking data. It also factors in property level and community level mitigation. The goal is to stabilize the insurance market while rewarding wildfire safety efforts. Also, the sustainable insurance strategy builds on that foundation. So it mandates premium discounts for homeowners who take wildfire safety actions. Discounts can range from 4% to 40% depending on mitigation and risk levels. This aligns safety with financial incentives. Currently in process is strengthening the California Home Grant Program as well. This would provide grants for low-income homeowners in high fire hazard zones. Funding would support Zone 0 of hardening and Class A roofing. The model is based on successful mitigation programs in the Southeast. So this is about prevention, reducing losses before the disaster strikes. Also, before we go on to the next slide, I have provided in the back some informational one-pagers on both the Safer from Wildfires and the Sustainable Insurance Strategy. Next slide, please. Okay, so I'll talk a little bit about our post-disaster recovery strategy. So our goal is simple: to help people fully recover after a disaster and make our communities stronger before the next one happens. Our work is guided by what wildfire survivors have told us, the department, and by what we've learned from years of investigating insurance claims. So about half of the complaints that we've received involve smoke damage. We've recovered $211 million for residents through our investigations, including about $50 million for smoke damage. But this remains one of the toughest challenges. Unlike an earthquake, where a red flag processes clearly determines whether a home is safe, there are no clear public health standards for smoke damage, so that leaves families uncertain and sometimes at risk. We need clear health-based standards and immediate support for people who are still displaced or living in potentially contaminated homes. We also see serious insurance coverage gaps. Policies that work for single house fire often fail during a large disaster. Families can run out of living expense benefits before they are able to rebuild. So we need stronger disaster planning requirements and better protection so that this doesn't happen. We're also concerned about the FAIR Plan, which has fallen short of smoke claims and coverage options. A legal action regarding unpaid smoke claims is currently pending. After responding to more than 120 major wildfires in the last 7 years, we know recovery is complex. Insurance is critical, and payments are coming faster than in past fires. But for many families, it still won't be enough. That's why we must also support federal disaster aid, private grants, cost savings, rebuilding strategies, efficient permitting, and wildfire-resistant rebuilding. Recovery takes coordination and commitment. If we work together, we can help families recover fully and reduce the risk of this happening again. Next slide, please. Okay, Smoke Damage Recovery Act. So this is AB 1795. So AB 1795 was introduced February 11th of this year by Assembly Member Mike Gibson. It established public health requirements for testing and restoring smoke-damaged homes. It also modernizes insurance training and certificate standards. Current claim practices are outdated. This addresses that gap as well. Next slide, please. I'm going to talk about the key provisions. So it will provide immediate help if the public health agencies issue smoke testing standards. It will establishes science-based inspection and restoration protocols, creates uniform claims handling practices, and this is about health-driven standards and reducing disputes over smoke damage. Next slide, please. Next, I'll talk about the Disaster Recovery Reform Act, which is SB 876. So SB 876 was introduced in January of this year by Senator Steve Padilla. So it focuses on speeding up disaster recovery. It strengthens consumer protections and addresses delays in claims payments. It responds directly to wildfire survivor concerns. Next slide. So I'll talk about the claim handling reforms. So it will require insurers to have a disaster recovery plan, doubles penalties for unfair claim practices. It requires direct requires direct restriction to policyholders with violation when violations occur. Requires a 5-day status update when adjusters change. Expands additional living expense coverage by 100%, expands upfront payments with interest penalties if late. This is designed to reduce delays and increase accountability. Next slide. I will talk about the replacement and rebuilding standards. So it will require updated replacement cost estimates at new and renewal policies, establish mandatory building code upgrade coverage. This ensures homeowners can rebuild to current standards, not outdated ones. It prevents underinsured surprises after a disaster as well. Next slide. Okay, the Make It Fair Act, which is AB 1680. So AB 1680 was introduced February 2nd of this year, and that was by Assembly Member Lisa Calderon. It involves the FAIR Plan. It overhauls the FAIR Plan, strengthens claim handling, expands coverage options, improves transparency, and creates a pathway back to the regular insurance market. Next slide, please. Here are some key reforms. It will require a formal plan to transition people back to the standard market. It imposes penalties for the fair claims violations. It expands coverage to reduce the need for separate policies. Requires compliance with insurance commissioner recommendations. So the goal here is accountability and long-term market stability. Next slide, please. Sorry. Call to action. So our support for legislation. So we were asking for support for this legislation package. These bills strengthen insurance protections, they improve recovery timelines, they increase accountability, and they help stabilize California's insurance market. Local government support matters. Next slide, please. Our consumer alert and education. So the Department of Insurance also offers ongoing consumer education. Residents can sign up for alerts on new regulations and fraud prevention. There is a statewide education series covering auto, health, business, life, and residential insurance. Residents can contact our department directly at our 1-800 number. That's 1-800-927-4357, or our website at insurance.ca.gov. Education and prevention are key to resilience. And the next slide, please. So this is our statewide education series. So our free statewide webinar series is designed to help consumers better understand important insurance topics. So each session features experts who will answer questions and provide helpful information and resources so consumers can make informed decisions. Again, please share with your constituents so that they can be informed of this important insurance issues. Next slide, please. And I believe that concludes my, yes. Thank you for having me. Again, our telephone number, our website, and I left some informational one-pagers in the back. Thank you, and we hope that we have your support.